here we go. And turn the camera down that way. It's Friendship Day. I've been told there's a mystery guest coming in. I don't know who that mystery guest is. I have some ideas. Seeing that it's Friendship Day, but still don't know who that's going to be. So we'll find out. Sports ball coming up here, and make sure the phones are on.
One of those moves with a lot more volatility.
And yeah, I guess I should see if I have to play commercials. I'm going to have somebody in the 6:40 hour, in the 6:40 time slot.
Because inflation was the place where we were falling down, and the job market remained extremely strong. Now,
oh, and it's the California Ag Report?
We have to pay
oh, I can get rid of that.
And as I say, my view is we're as restrictive in real terms as we've been higher than this entire cycle.
So what happens? We do 6:30, and it's just America's First News, so we're good. Okay.
Don't think there's a chance of overheating, or it doesn't.
All right, so I guess we'll see what happens. See who this is. I hate to say who I think it is, because it's going to sound like one person is favored over another. But I think, if I had to guess, I would think it's my BFF from when we were kids, Andrew Fuller, Mr. Andy Fuller. Which, if it is him, France.
The survey also found about 7 in 10 the Secret Service bears at least a moderate responsibility for the assassination attempt. The new acting director, Ronald Rowe, said his
I'm writing down talking points to a person that I don't even know if they're calling in. So, friendship.
At 6:11 p.m., a member of former President Trump's protective detail contacted their Pittsburgh Phillips counterparts to inquire about the radio update that there was an issue local law enforcement was looking into near the perimeter. At 6:11 p.m., the assailant's first volley of 3 shots was fired, and within 3 seconds, the former president's detail rushed the stage and covered former President Trump, shielding them with the 4 QA shots took place over the next several seconds.
Okay, I feel like I should be doing something right now. 6:30. Almost 6:30.
The Secret Service fired a single round that neutralized the assailant. This was exact. We should have had better protection.
Neutralize the assailant?
We should have had better coverage on that.
Which means killed him.
We should have had
Neutralize the assailant means shot him dead.
That building was very close to that outer perimeter. And we should have had more of a presence. The APNORC found that about a third of
let's shout out Newcastle. Why not? Okay, so happy Friendship Day, everybody. Say hello to your friends. Here's the construction guys outside. They've been coming for like the last week now. It's funny to watch them roll up every morning. They just get their day started. Each of them has their own bag, which is cool. I guess if you're working at a different job site all the time, you just got to bring your own. Bring your stuff with you everywhere you go. Oh. Phone ringing? Oh.
Premium gas or regular? What do octane ratings mean? I'm Ron and Annie in the car doctor. Your automotive prescription right after this.
Okay. Oh, and there goes our morning walkers. Morning walkers. It's funny because they're doing work on the theater building here, and usually it's nice and quiet here in the mornings, but it's different to have people rolling in at 6:30. All right, here we go. A's versus the White Sox. White Sox tie the AL record with the 21st straight loss, and Max Schumann's 2-run single didn't help them anymore. Here's what it sounded like at the ballpark.
exceptions to the rule.
All right, that's what we're going to do.
Luxury vehicles call for premium or higher.
La-da-da.
And the reason for this is not just due to the octane rating. There are better fuel systems and fuels. Gasoline companies know too that vehicles that run on premium won't perform as well with carbon deposits.
All right.
So they have more cleaning power.
Did I call out Forest Hill already? I was going to do Newcastle.
If you rotate your fuel choices around, say, every third
There's the other truck.
you may find better performance.
13 seconds, Adam!
Because you are cleaning your engine and fuel system while you drive.
Oh, my gosh. Here we go.
Replace them anytime soon. With your automotive prescription, I'm Ron Anani in the car lot. See you next time.
And good Tuesday morning to you. It is August 6th, and it is 30 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:30 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Newcastle. Currently 65 degrees where you're at right now. Looking for a high today. Very toasty, 102 degrees. All right, there's a sports ball music. Let's get right into it. A's versus the White Sox yesterday. White Sox tied the AL record, and not one that they were probably wanting to do, with the 21st straight loss. And Max Schumann's two-run single did not help with their woes anymore. Here's what it sounded like from the ballpark. And yeah, that's right. The A's take that game 5-1 over the White Sox there. Oof, rough. 21st straight loss for the White Sox. Phillies versus the Dodgers. Dodgers win that one 5-3. Going on to the Giants. Giants versus the Nationals. Giants on top there 4-1. Astros versus the Rangers. Rangers take that one 4-3. D-backs versus the Guardians. D-backs on top there 7-6. And the Mets versus the Cards. Mets run away with that one 6-0. Going over to Olympic news. USA men's basketball begins knockout play today from Paris. Yeah, they're going to be they're going up against Brazil, I believe, at 12:30 today, Pacific time. So if you've got NBC or Peacock or any of those streaming services there, you can check it out there. Again, men's basketball playing against Brazil today at 12:30 Pacific. And of course, you can catch all the highlights during prime time at 8 o'clock tonight. Looking at the medal tracker, USA leading overall medals with 79, China behind with 53, and France behind them with 48. At the individual level, individual medal leaders, USA has 21 golds, tied with China now with 21 golds. France has 13 silver, USA has 30, China has 18, France has 16, and bronze, USA has 28, France has 19, and Great Britain has 17. Back with your KAHI weather right after this.
KAHI radio team. Each weekday morning from 9 to noon, I'm live on KAHI. We tackle issues like cholesterol, diabetes, women's health, children, geriatrics, relationships, and more. And with all that's going on in Washington, we even touch on government and policies impacting your health. The Dr. Dahlia Show
Dr. Dahlia.
is also a talk show that answers your questions on the air. Join me, Dr. Dahlia, Monday through Friday from 9 to noon here on FM 104.5.
All right, Timmy, you're up.
950 KAHI, the voice of the Philippines.
Tuesday weather forecast, mostly sunny skies, very hot today. It'll be in the nasty 90s, around 98, 99 for the high. Southwest wind about 10 miles per hour. Mostly clear, warm overnight, 70 to 75, very light winds. Very close to 100 on Wednesday, mostly sunny. And those temperatures will be a little bit cooler, mid-90s on Thursday and Friday, mostly sunny skies expected. This is meteorologist Tim Ray from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
Here's one of our local advertisers to tell you why he loves KAHI Radio.
I'm Fred Pitt, Managing Partner of Penny Associates. Our office is
All right.
located throughout California.
Mystery guest coming up. Let's see if they remember to call. Sometimes I wonder.
We see the advantage of reaching those who matter most. A local
I always wonder. Like, are they going to remember to call? I hope so. We'll see. 33 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:33 a.m. Coming up in our next segment, a mystery guest. So mysterious, I don't even know who it is. I was just told, hey, expect a phone call the back half of the 6 o'clock hour here. You've got a mystery guest coming on. It's Friendship Day today. So maybe that might be a clue, might be a friend of mine. We'll see who's calling in. Off now to America's First News. I'll see you back here in just a little bit.
34 minutes past the hour of tropical storm Debbie hit Florida Monday with torrential rain and high winds, contributing to at least 4 deaths.
All right.
They're looking to rescue hundreds from flooded homes.
Here we go.
Toward the eastern seaboard's low-lying regions and threatening to flood some of America's most historic southern cities. Record-setting rain was causing flash flooding of up to 30 inches. About 500 people were rescued from flooded homes in Sarasota, one of the cities hit hardest by flooding. Governor Ron DeSantis warned that the state could continue to see threats as waterways north of the border fill up and flow south.
Now, this did not bring the catastrophic hurricane force winds that we've seen in previous storms like Hurricane Ian, but it has and continues to produce lots of water. We have reported a total of 4 fatalities. Again, these are when you're in the traffic stuff, we count it. We had 2 fatalities from a traffic accident in Dixie County, 1 in Hillsborough, which was the big rig truck. And then we did have 1 fatality of a young girl who was killed when a tree fell onto the roof of the family's home in Levy County. So as of now, we have 4 confirmed fatalities since the storm has begun.
The potential for high water also threatens Savannah, Georgia, and Charleston, South Carolina. Local leaders in Savannah said flooding could happen in areas that don't usually get high water if Debbie spells out over the city. With winds and rainfall expected to worsen overnight, authorities issued a curfew from 10 p.m. Monday until 6 a.m. this morning. National Hurricane Center Director Michael Brown.
So from tonight,
Okay.
the flash flooding is going to extend across coastal Georgia to Savannah and southern portions of South Carolina, the Beaufort Hilton Head area. From Tuesday morning until Wednesday morning, the area at greatest risk is going to include much of coastal Georgia, now extending northward into Charleston to Myrtle Beach, all the way up to extreme southeastern North Carolina. Wednesday into Thursday, northeast South Carolina, extreme southern North Carolina. And then as we go from Thursday into Friday, we're going to see that risk, a moderate risk level 3 out of 4, extend northward up into much of central North Carolina, the Raleigh area, into portions of south central Virginia. So again, each day, that risk is going to slowly evolve, but you can see with the risk consolidated for several days across portions of coastal Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. That's where the greatest threat is.
President Joe Biden was briefed on Debbie's progress while at his home in Wilmington, Delaware. Biden approved a request from South Carolina's governor for an emergency declaration following his earlier approval of a secret request from Florida.
That's the right person there.
Asked the Biden administration to issue a emergency declaration to speed the flow of
Okay, I should.
Former President Donald Trump's campaign attorney, Jenna Ellis, who worked closely with Rudy Giuliani, will cooperate with Arizona prosecutors in exchange for charges being dropped against her in the fake election. Ellis has previously pleaded
Practice the
guilty to
news.
forgery and
That's what I should do
conspiracy
next.
charges in the Arizona case. 17 other people charged pleaded not guilty to the felony charges, including Giuliani, Trump presidential chief of staff Mark Meadows, and 11 Republicans who submitted a document to Congress falsely declaring Trump had won Arizona. Last year, Ellis was charged in Georgia. She appeared at a December 2020 hearing hosted by state Republican lawmakers at the Georgia Capitol, during which false allegations of election fraud were made. She had pleaded guilty in October to 1 felony count of aiding and abetting false statements and writings. Bangladesh's prime minister resigned and fled the country Monday after weeks of protests against the quota system for government jobs descended into violence and grew into a broader challenge to her 15-year rule. Thousands of demonstrators stormed official residence buildings. Sheikh Hasina's departure threatens to create even more instability in a densely populated nation on India's border that's already dealing with a series of crises, from high unemployment to corruption to climate change. Amid security concerns, the main airport in Dhaka, the capital, suspended operations. State Department spokesperson
Number one, our condolences, of course, go out to those who have been hurt in the violence over the past few weeks. We are focused now on supporting an end to the violence and for accountability. All decisions regarding the interim government should be made with respect to democratic principles, rule of law, and the will of the Bangladeshi people.
The military chief said he was temporarily taking control of the country, and soldiers tried to stem the growing unrest. The country's figurehead president announced late Monday, after a meeting with the general and opposition politicians, that parliament would be dissolved and a national government would be formed as soon as possible, leading to fresh elections. Turning to sports this morning, the Chicago White Sox lost their 21st straight game, tying the American League record with a 5-1 loss to the Oakland A's, as Cardinals' Max Schumann hit a tie-breaking two-run single in the fourth inning. Chicago is on the longest losing streak since the 1988 Baltimore Orioles lost 21 in a row. The NL record since 1900 is held by the 1961 Philadelphia Phillies, who lost 23 straight. The Major League low belongs to the 1889 Louisville Colonels, an American Association team that lost 26 consecutive games during the 27 and 111 season. Ellie De La Cruz became the youngest Cincinnati Reds player with 4 extra base hits in a game since at least 1901, and the Reds overcame Jesus Sanchez's 480-foot home run, the longest in the Major League this season, in a 10-3 victory over the Miami Marlins.
Sanchez reached on an error in the fourth inning, and then he hit one deep in the sixth inning. Way out of here, a long home run for Jesus Sanchez. He absolutely crushes this ball.
De La Cruz entered in an 0-for-13 slide, put Cincinnati ahead with a 2-run homer off Roderick Munoz in the first inning. He doubled in the fourth and the sixth and hit a solo shot in the eighth against John Anderson, his 20th home run of the season.
He is a phenom for the Reds, and he lashes this one into the Reds bullpen. A 2-run first inning home run. Oh boy. Well, he hit his second home run of the night, his 4th extra base hit of the game. And Ellie De La Cruz is just a different kind of player.
They call on Valley Sports. De La Cruz has 3 multi-homer games, including 2 season. Nick Martinez pitched 5 scoreless innings to win on his 34th birthday in his first start since May 22nd. And Teoscar Hernandez hit a tie-breaking 2-run shot in the third inning. Shohei Ohtani went deep in the 8th. And the LA Dodgers beat the Philadelphia Phillies 5-3 in the matchup of NL division leaders. Simone Biles didn't get the golden send-off, but she did earn silver on the floor exercise finals on Monday after a routine that included a couple of costly steps out of bounds. Brazil's Rebecca Andrade became the first gymnast to beat Biles in a floor final in a major international competition. Jordan Childs, a longtime friend and teammate of Biles, earned the bronze. The 27-year-old Biles, considered the greatest in the history of the sport, wasn't at her usual best. Still, she boosted her medal haul in Paris to 4, gold in the team all-around and vault finals, and a silver that came as a surprise in her signature event. Prior to the floor exercise, Biles failed the medal on the balance beam.
Being final is always the most stressful, but usually we have like music or background noise, whatever that may be. And honestly, we do better in environments when there's noise going on because it feels most like practice. So today, like, you could hear some of the Android ringtones going off, the photo flickers, whatever that was. And so you kind of stay in your zone. And then people start cheering, and then the shushing gets louder. So really they should be shushed because they're louder. Then I don't know. It was really weird and awkward. And we've asked several times if we can have some music or some background noise. So I'm not really sure what happened there, but yeah, not our favorite. None of us liked it. Yeah. It was an odd theme final.
Biles is now an 11-time Olympic medalist and hasn't ruled out trying to compete in the LA Games in 2028. And the U.S. men's basketball team begins knockout play today at the Paris Games, while the U.S. women's national soccer team has a chance to advance to the gold medal match. Team USA faces Brazil in the men's basketball quarterfinal, continuing its quest for a 5th straight gold medal. The Americans went undefeated in their group, earning the top seed at the medal rounds. Brazil needed a tiebreaker to advance to the quarterfinals, but shot 45% from deep during pool play. And after defeating Japan on Saturday with a late strike from Trinity Rodman, the American women will face Germany for a spot in the gold medal soccer match. The U.S. defeated Germany 4-1 in the group stage. And Georgia opens the preseason ranked at number 1 in the preseason USA Today coaches poll a year after having its 2-year run as a national champion end. The Bulldogs received 46 of 55 first-place votes from college football coaches. Preseason number 2, Ohio State got 7 votes at number 1, followed by Oregon, Texas, and Alabama. Reach out to me anytime across the board on social media at Matt Ray Talk. You've got America's First News.
America's First News with Matt Ray.
Can you believe, with all the recent violent protests, looting, and destruction, some areas are considering either defunding or abolishing the police? At a time when America's neighborhoods need the protection of police the most.
From Wells Fargo, you can pick up even when you forget your wallet.
A 1, a 2.
Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
All right. 1, 2.
Request your free Support Your Local Police info packet. Dial 800 JBS USA 1. That's 800 JBS USA. Request your free Support Your Local Police info packet by calling 800 JBS USA 1.
And good Tuesday morning to you. It is August 6th, and it is 15 minutes to the top of the hour, 6:45 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Roseville. Currently 63 degrees where you're at right now. Looking for a high today, Wolf, of 103 degrees. All right, let's talk about another event for the calendar. It's the Spaghetti and Meatball Bash. It's the 13th annual Horse for Healing fundraiser. Again, Spaghetti and Meatball Bash. Hey, that sounds like a good bash, in my opinion. It's happening on August 17th here. It's going to be featuring Todd Morgan and the Emblems, the 50s and 60s rock and roll band. If their band promo shoot is anything like what they are, it sounds like it's going to be a good time. Since 1997, Horses for Healing has offered therapeutic riding for children and adults with special needs. 100% of the event proceeds go to support our local program. The location is going to be at the Auburn Elks Lodge. That's at 195 Pine Street here in Auburn. Tickets, you can go ahead and get advanced ticket sales are $45 each or $165 for a 4-pack. If that's available through August 16th. Tickets at the door on August 17th are $50 each. Cash, checks, and credit cards accepted. 4:45 p.m. The doors open 5 p.m. Live music and silent auction begins in 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Dinner is served. For information and tickets, you can call 530-887-9573, or you can go to horsesforhealing.org. Again, horsesforhealing.org. What is it? It's the 13th annual Horses for Healing fundraiser, Spaghetti and Meatball Bash, happening August 17th here. 4:45, doors open, 5 p.m. Live music and silent auction, and 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Dinner is served. For more information, call 530-887-9573. Back with more after this.
Here's another KAHI community bulletin. You don't have to go to Africa to have a wildlife adventure. The Wildlife Care Association offers adventure, challenge, and satisfaction when you volunteer to care for injured birds and small animals. The nonprofit group is offering classes now for volunteers.
So I guess a mystery guest didn't call in, which I always kind of wonder about that. Like, well, we'll see.
With California Ag Today, I'm Haley Show. This is the Ag Information Network. Hot, hot, hot into autumn. I'm not a weather forecaster by any means. I have played one on the radio from time to time. At any rate, the people in the know that it's AccuWeather's long-range forecasters say summer heat is expected to last well.
I think I had that right.
Across much of America. That means
Surprise guest. Okay.
Wildfires and severe weather. Fall is going to feel more like an extended summer for millions of Americans this year.
Okay, I was right that I was going to be a surprise guest.
Adding that much of the country will experience
Oh,
a delayed
lighthouse guy?
transition to cooler temperatures.
Hey, lighthouse guy.
Following a summer with some intense heat. He also says record high temperatures were shattered in several cities across California, Nevada,
Okay.
and North Carolina this summer, with the possibility of
It's always funny, though, to promo something and you don't know if it's going to work out. So you're like, does it sound like I don't have my act together if I promo something? But then if I don't promo it, then people are like, well, why don't you promo something? Like, I would have tuned in. Like, I would love to know. Like, give people a reason to tune in and come back. But then you're totally at the mercy of this person that's supposed to
the VA Supportive Services for Families program.
call
Helps
it.
veterans and their families
And
struggle
so
with rent, employment, and other housing-related costs.
I guess it is what it
Nation's
is.
Finest operates more than 30 locations in
I'm kind of
California,
curious who it
Arizona,
was, though.
Nevada, helping
I'll have to ask
thousands
my
of
wife.
veterans every year.
She's the one that booked the person. So she's just like, just be prepared. You have a mystery guest coming in. Like, okay.
40 years, the Ag Information Network.
Here we go.
has been providing
30 seconds, Adam.
For the most important industry in the world, agriculture. The Ag Information Network gives you worldwide updates from local producers to regional organizations, from major crops
Here we go.
like wheat and corn to animal agriculture to specialty crops like apples, almonds, and cherries. We report on stories that mean the most to you. Online,
10 seconds. Ooh, man.
The Ag
Damn,
Information
on
Network,
this one.
trusted, transparent journalism lasting for the next generation.
On the Ag Information Network, I am Haley Schiff.
11 minutes to the top of the hour, 6:49 a.m. Well, I guess our mystery guest is going to remain a mystery, even to me, because apparently they didn't call in. So maybe we'll catch them another time. I have no idea who it is, and so it's living up to their name. They are a mystery. Hey, we're going to go back to America's First News, and then we will come back next hour with the Auburn Meddlers meeting. It is Tuesday. We'll see you back here in just a little bit. All right. I gotta get the news ready to go. Friendship.
Deputy National Security Advisor Jonathan Kleiner told CBS, U.S.
Well, and what we're trying to do is prepare for any eventuality, any possibility. That's only responsible for the United States. Obviously, we've been quite clear that we will work with our ally Israel to defend itself against any threats that it faces, and we are that appears to be a heightened threat. What we've said to our own citizens is should they choose to or desire to leave Lebanon, the time to do that would be while commercial options are available, as they currently are. Beyond that, obviously, these are personal decisions that we will leave to people to make. We've raised our travel advisory to level 4, which discourages Americans from traveling to Lebanon. But this is no prediction about future events. It is prudent planning for them and for our government.
Is that why the U.S. is deploying additional fighter squadrons to the Middle East and moving in other naval vessels?
So you're referring to the announcement that was made on Friday, where the United States, our Pentagon said that we are moving a carrier group to the region and some additional air assets. That is entirely focused on defending Israel against potential threats it may face, and out of our desire to both deter those threats, defend against them, and ultimately de-escalate this situation and avoid it sliding into a regional war. We obviously had a very close call on a broader regional conflict on April 13th, when the United States worked very closely with Israel and with our other partners and allies to defeat a threat and an attack that Iran made against Israel. And should that situation arise again, we want to be prepared to do it. But the overall goal is to turn the temperature down in the region, deter and defend against those attacks, and avoid regional conflict, which has been our goal really since October 7th.
Biden and Harris also received details about the attack on Al-Assad Air Base in Iraq. The U.S. military said in a statement that initial indications were several U.S. military personnel were injured. No group immediately claimed responsibility for the attack. In recent weeks, Iranian-backed Iraqi militias have resumed launching attacks on bases housing U.S. forces after a lull of several months after a strike on a base in Jordan killed 3 Iraqi soldiers in late January and prompted a series of retaliatory U.S. strikes. Independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. could have been hit with a fine, dumping a dead bear in New York Central Park. But the state agency that investigated the bizarre incident said the statute of limitations for the decade-old offense has long since expired. The New York State Department of Environmental Conservation said it led the 2014 investigation of forensic analysis into the Central Park bear claim. The investigation was closed later that year due to a lack of sufficient evidence to determine if violations occurred. It is illegal to do what Kennedy Jr. admitted to on Sunday.
I wasn't trained, of course. We were trained, but thought this was a good idea. And I said, look, I have all my car that somebody asked me to get rid of. I said, let's go put the bear in Central Park and make it look like anything like that. So everybody thought that's so I did that. And we thought, we use it for whoever found it or something. The next day, it was like, it was on every television station. It was the front page of every paper. And I turned on the TV and there was like a mile of yellow tape and no 20 gun. There were helicopters There were some people on TV at the time that said, well, I'm looking at the mic and they're saying they're going to take this up too. Oh, they didn't finish it. And I was working with this Prince Roll that like, luckily, the story got after a while.
Two women walking their dogs found the dead bear and alerted authorities, touching off a mystery that captivated the city, as bears are not among the park's known wildlife population. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she hasn't spoken to President Joe Biden since his decision to bow out of the presidential race. Pelosi denied to CNN's Dana Bash that it was her Democratic allies who pushed Biden to step aside in favor of Vice President Kamala Harris.
I had nothing to do with that. And if you ask them, it's almost insulting to them because they're formidable figures in the Congress of the United States. They make their own judgment and their own
Have you
statement.
spoken to President Biden since he dropped out? Do you hope to?
Yes, I hope to. Yeah. Well,
Is everything okay with your relationship?
you have to ask him, but I hope so. But he knows that, look, I have loved Joe Biden, respected him for over 40 years. I was party chair of California, then became member of Congress, and then one thing, other housewife, house member, house speaker, working with him all along. I think he has made one of the biggest contributions to our country in the shortest period of time.
Pelosi said she believed there were misinterpretations of what she said after she went on MSNBC's morning show and urged President Joe Biden to make a decision on staying in the race or stepping aside. She said that was not a vote of confidence. A judge on Monday ruled that Google's ubiquitous search engine has been illegally exploiting its dominance to squash competition and stifle innovation, a seismic decision that could shake up the internet and hobble one of the world's best-known companies. The highly anticipated decision issued by U.S. District Judge Amit Mehta comes nearly a year after the start of the trial, pitting the Justice Department against Google, the country's biggest antitrust showdown in a quarter century. After reviewing reams of evidence that included testimony from top executives at Google, Microsoft, and Apple during last year's 10-week trial, Mehta issued his potentially market-shifting decision 3 months after the two sides presented their first arguments in court. Japan's benchmark set markets tumbling in Europe.
It's friendship, friendship. Okay, are they going to let me into the Zoom meeting? That's the question. That is to be or not to be. It's friendship, friendship.
Recording in progress.
Yes. We've got this sounding recording, and I see the mic is open. You know, and I wonder if that was our feedback last week. Maybe I can, hopefully I won't kill the recording. Where do you want? Wherever you want. No. I just fill in the empty spot. We're there, the guys. Well, good morning. Morning. Casey, would you lead us in the salute to the flag? Please join me in our salute to our great flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, good morning. Morning. I think this is the first morning I haven't had to get bailed out by either Sean or Daniel. So, okay, all working great. So far. Mike, I understand you have some words of wisdom for us this morning. Well, there is very
Yeah, Jim's giving the update today.
And also National Night Out. Old Town, and we want to have a good laugh. The chief of police may be sent to the dog tank. And me too. What's that? And I'll be in the dog tank too. So you can throw rocks at me for police baseball. And I guess we have the results from the beach week. The governor of Minnesota has been selected to be Kamala's running mate. And that is the governor was, is that Shapiro? No, that's Tim Walsh. Tim Walsh, okay. It's like your favorite uncle. You're darn true. Thank you, Mike. And you know, we have a special guest today, and you know, Stephanie Snyder is here in the audience. She is somebody. What's this all about? Well, good morning, Sean. How are things in the city?
Other than air conditioning, not working in this room pretty good. So the air conditioner was on all night, and obviously that's not working.
And 2 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:02 a.m. here at FM 104.5 AM 950 KAHI, voice of the foothills. If you're just joining us, we're going to tune in now to the Auburn Meddlers meeting, the Auburn Chamber of Commerce meeting that happens every Tuesday. We're going to go over to it now with updates from the city from Sean Rabe.
So, I got a November election update. So, both of our incumbent council members for the 4-year terms of both papers, Alex Cavillo and Rachel Harris, the appointed incumbent for the short 2-year term as both papers, which is Michelle Sierra Sammons. And then we've also have new person in polling papers for that term, Kelly Davis. Our incumbent treasurer, John Silva, has for her office. And as of yesterday, only Alice has completed her filings to qualify for the November election. You know, to qualify as a candidate, you need to obtain at least 20 signatures from registered voters in the city who support their candidacy, draft their statement for the sample ballot, choose the ballot designation. Once all that's done, they come back to file the clerk. So all that has to be done by August 9th. August 9th is about the day for people to vote papers and file everything. So there is still time if somebody's going to file last. So if no one files, other than the one
to your to the chicken, what do we do?
So, yeah. So because we have the one seat that's still up, yeah, we wouldn't pull out the two. You could pull them off if there was no challengers running at all, but because we've got the one, there's not a lot. Doesn't really say anything.
What's the deadline for going to bid?
August 9th is the deadline to submit. Everything has to be submitted by then.
So that's how you come.
Yep. No, well, you know better than me. Yeah.
You guys are still looking for them.
Yeah. But, yeah. Let's see what else we got. Form-based code. So the community development director, community and economic development department has been working for the past few years to develop a new land scope for the city's old town and downtown and incentivize infill development. We talked about this a little bit in the past. It's kind of coming back up, bubbling back up to the surface. That makes it easier for businesses and housing to come into those districts, and it kind of recreates the historical live, work, development patterns that have characterized our old community. So you got the live, work unit, right? Shop owner builds a shop that lives above it. This wouldn't be quite the same thing, although it could be. But looking at adding housing on the second story, keeping the bottom story.
And now, watch me eat on camera.
The idea is creating a modern land use code for the downtown, the old town, and then streamlining the process by limiting the kind of longer planning commission hearings and making it a little bit more over the counter process. We're going to be hosting a sneak peek of the code here on the 15th of August at City Hall, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. And once that's done, we'll start into the process of taking it to the planning commission and then eventually to the council for approval. So I talked about this before a little bit, that we've got this issue with housing in the city. We don't have nowhere to grow for housing. So we're looking to add an additional story, 2 stories or whatever, some of the existing buildings in downtown to create more vibrancy in the downtown and the old town areas, right? Get people staying there rather than just shops closed, most folks leave. So, sure.
So I've seen that concept a lot where housing below,
We have to be on top of it to get things open.
existing.
Because we do have a couple vacant lots in town, right?
Yeah.
The vacant lots will end up doing something probably similar because you get this more revenue coming from that. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt you, Sean, but we did get a comment that came in from a former heating and air conditioning professional who used to be on the city council, who says the reason the AC is not working is because the condenser goes up because the temp was lower than what the thermostat was set at. When the ice melts on the condenser, it will work again.
I mean,
You're looking at
I just met with her for coffee on Friday. She didn't fill me in on Twitter. Should have had her come over. Police department's problem-oriented policing team with some assistance from patrol recently tackled a project along Annual Park. Like underneath the bridge there, a bunch of graffiti and just trash and stuff. So we had a hot team around there with a couple members of the patrol team as well, picked up a bunch of trash and graffiti. So just like each thing from the city, for me especially, for people to sit down because they're constantly out looking at stuff in the city, anyways, keep the city safe, ways to keep the city clean. So excellent job there. And then the idea of the broken windows theory, right? You let it up and sit, especially if your graffiti is too long, and then just add it onto that. So we want to stop that as quickly as we can. See graffiti in the city, email me or email the police department, and then they'll take care of it as quickly as possible. I won't say that otherwise, although I have to know that. Supervisor will look at it. Our longtime transportation supervisor, Rachel Wells, recently retired from the city this week. After more than 20 years of service to Auburn. Huge dedication to the city. We thank her for that. We have a new transportation supervisor, Roy, who is stepped into that role at really important school year students starting. We have significant operational changes, including the preparation of our new range transit plan that was recently adopted. I've guided the transit department for the next 7 years. So, much thanks to Rachel for all the work that she did, and thanks for what Stephanie and used. A little bit of changes on the fire department sides too. We just recently welcomed Battalion Chief Matt McCarthy to the city of Auburn. 25 years of fire
KAHI Radio.
experience. He most recently served
This is Chris.
as a Rio Vista and Solano County as engineer, paramedic, and acting captain.
Oh, okay.
Prior to
No
that,
worries.
in various locations,
Bye-bye.
including Placer Hills Fire District. Started as a firefighter in 1997 and advanced up the ranks to captain, paramedic, battalion chief, paramedic since 2001, and as Bachelor of Science degree in Emergency Services Management with various firefighter certificates, et cetera, et cetera. Also, he's a registered instructor with the California State Fire Marshal. We also promoted Justin Rendon, fire captain, effective July 20th. Justin was hired as a firefighter on January 22nd and promoted to fire apparatus engineer in August of 22. 10 years fire service experience in the city of Auburn, working for Ohio Valley Fire Authority and Cal Fire. And then last but not least, a couple of our July milestone anniversary in the city. Our fire chief, John Rogers, worked for the city 25 years. Started here as a volunteer firefighter right out of high school. Carlos Cassandra in our police department, 17 years. Police Lieutenant Brian Morrison's been with us for 8 years. Beth Brady in our finance department has been with us for 2 years. Nathan Steele in our fire department 2 years. And Matt Chestnut in our police department has been here for 1 year. I stole my thunder on that national night out. Thanks for coming up. So yeah.
That's pretty good right now.
Yeah, really.
Any questions for Steve?
Sir.
Yeah. Native President told us 4 years ago, built that stand building over there. Bob and I are talking about as far as how we'll build it. But anyway, and the last book in contact with everybody that we were contacting to help with the maintenance down there and restoration of that park for some degree or another. Then we'll try to get a hold of them and try to get us in the same room together and possibly work on that park together. Being as we got the next.
Right.
That's the destination point.
Yeah. I'm not sure if Lions Club has been involved in what did it. The city wanted to be in day. There was a lot of folks on that park though, so we had folks go do there. There is a project that we've been talking about with the Arts Commission about cleaning up that the bridge, underneath the bridge, and kind of adding some like art installation stuff to help and putting some kind of fencing up to protect it. But so that to make it a little bit nicer and less of a attractive nuisance. Tying it into the quail trail. We want to make sure that we're able to kind of clean it up and hopefully prevent people from doing graffiti and all that stuff. So I'll find out if the Lions has been contacted or not. I don't know if I just contacted them or not.
They contacted us. We're on board with doing something.
Yeah.
We need more direction.
13 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:13 a.m. If you're just tuning in, we're listening to the Auburn Meddlers meeting, as we do every Tuesday during the 7 o'clock hour. We're getting updates from City Manager Sean Rabe here. We're going to pause for just a little bit, show some love to our advertisers. We will be back right after this.
So still on hold. I heard now it's going to be October before they start.
I want you to understand that this is how the customer comes in to get a permit from you guys, what it feels like to get the permit. They will come around.
I appreciate it.
How about, the street lighting or the sidewalk work you're doing there, possibly the coffee shop?
People there.
Yeah.
So there's an underground storage tank that we found there. We were replacing a sewer line right in front along the sidewalk, base of the sidewalk. When they cut open the sidewalk and replaced the sewer line, the transfer collapsed and an underground storage tank fell out. And so we had to stop work. They were able to finish the sewer line, thank God, because otherwise that would have been obviously a huge issue. We got that fixed. We had to call environmental health. Environmental health came. We're right now in the process of looking and investigating if there's contamination or not, and if there is, how far it's spread out. So they actually just finished that, I think, on Friday this past week. I haven't got the report back of if it's contaminated or not.
Who's storage tank for?
Well, that's a good question, Bob. The property owner, so the tank has pipes that feed underneath the building, Billy Pryor's building. But it's, there used to be a highway, and so we're assuming there used to be an old car dealership there. We're assuming that it was a gas tank that was, was used to fill cars up. It's not very big, but still. And so we're tracking back now through the title to see who put it in the first place. Obviously, the city were putting in a gas tank. But it was when the Caltrans relinquished old 49, they support Highway 40. When Caltrans, that's 49. Yeah. When Caltrans relinquished 49 there to the city, became part of the city's problem. So we're going through trying to figure out who else it.
That was Joker Ford. It's been a while.
Yeah, and we can't wait to get it cleaned out because we got trench plates sitting over the top of it. I don't want to leave that there for too long. The businesses are being impacted. So once we're going to go in and clean it up, and then we'll figure out who we send the bill to once we get it done. Because we can't let this business be impacted too long. That the kitchen store there with
16 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:16 a.m. If you're just joining us, we are listening to the Auburn Meddlers meeting, as we do every Tuesday during the 7 o'clock hour, the Chamber of Commerce meeting. We're going to go back to the meeting now. We're getting updates from City Manager Sean Rabe, and he's taking questions from the audience.
Mandate or request?
It's most likely a building code issue.
Is he not the recipient of the revenues generated from that?
It won't be a city. It's not a city thing because it's on private property. So I'm assuming that I don't know what the process like. Who's going to own the charger stations itself?
Does he through revenues get reimbursed? The council share? By people using the charging station.
You should. Unless you put in a free ones. I don't know. I would do that if I was him.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
How like that would be reimbursed for the expense of the.
Which brings up an interesting question, which I asked Mike earlier. When I pulled in here this morning, I noticed a person leaving the parking lot with their morning coffee, and it was an electric vehicle out of the spot on the very front on the other side. And I wonder, can a citizen come in here at night, plug in,
That works.
charge at the city's cost?
It's a free charging station. Yeah. The city pays for the electricity. We're looking at converting that to a paid station because right now people will park there all day and just sit, and because it's kind of a slower charger, right? Sit there all day. We've had disc lights out there over because somebody unplugged somebody else's car and switched it over and they weren't completely charged. So it's turned into kind of an issue. We need to add additional ones too. So we're looking to add one more at least and change the free one to a paid one to kind of curb this parking there all day and then it's it. Bridget has one.
So I have an electric car, and every once in a while I thought, oh, I'll go see if I can charge at the city just for the fun of it. And the same car is always parked there all the time. Yeah. And at Tesla places, you have a limit, and as soon as you're done charging, they'll charge you like 50 cents a minute if you don't pull out. Theirs is too short constraint for having to get the next out of there, but like a minimum of 2 hour charging, because you need 2 hours of charging to get to where you're gonna go.
Right.
Because then no one else can use it, and I've seen the same car there. Different cars.
It seems to me that this could be a revenue
source for the city.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, when we first started it, sorry to interject, but they were donated by the manufacturer, the charging station itself. And then the electrical part of it was paid by the cities, so it was an inexpensive thing. And that's when they were just coming out and there weren't enough charging stations, and economically, the city did it to get people to come here and go walk around town. But now it's shifting and changing, so something different does need to happen.
Yeah. So, Nigel, Public Works Director, has an electric truck now. He'll charge over there sometimes. He was charging his truck there. Tesla pulled up in front of him, parked in the no parking zone, blocked him in, and then stole the charger and charged it. So he came out to leave and he couldn't leave. So police had to found it.
I love it.
Yeah, there's like a
You being connected, isn't it?
no, yeah, there's an etiquette to that kind of stuff, and that person didn't obviously follow that.
You should see that trademark.
I watched it. Well, thank you, Sean. Thank you. David, this morning I'm excited that we have Supervisor Holmes here, still filling in for Cindy, who's in Minnesota, going downtown to get a beer.
Actually, she was interviewing for the vice presidency. So, talking about underground storage tanks, you would be surprised how many underground storage tanks are still in the city of Auburn and even out Highway 349. So I know that because I had to pull my storage tanks way back in the day. So anyhow, just so you give that little tidbit of information, because that's where, when people are coming up from Highway 40, Auburn was where they stop to get in.
And you know where they are.
Yes.
All right.
So thank you. I appreciate it. Supervisor Phelps is in Minnesota. She has a family gathering. Someone's getting married or something. I'm not sure what it is, but she was very gracious and asked me to come in this morning and give the county report. What I wanted to talk about was last week, Supervisor Gustafson talked about the building we bought down in Rockland, and I wanted to expand on that about how that came about and some of the benefits to the taxpayers of Placer County. So the sheriff's office, knowing that the substantial growth in Western Placer County, it's been thinking about having a larger presence in that area, because with all the growth in the population, first of all, they're going to have to hire deputies. That's about an 18-month process, getting someone go through the academy, have them trained, and then pass a background check. So they're planning on that. But the substation that we have in Loomis is only 8,000 square feet, and it is inadequate for all services that come from the sheriff's office. It's crowded. There's not much space there. So the sheriff's office, looking forward, has been looking throughout the county or in the unincorporated area for a site that would be adequate to provide the services that they want to propose to meet for all the population. Nothing could be found that met their requirements until they found this building on West Oaks Boulevard. It's the corner of iHeartRadio, a nonprofit Christian company. That's actually, there's two buildings there. Both of them are up for sale, and the sheriff's office found this one with Placer County Real Estate Services, and it fits all the bills. And so it's a $6.5 million purchase, and it's coming out of general fund capital reserves. And so it's a good opportunity for us to take advantage of that. So this was the best option. It's 55,000 square feet. It's a commercial building. If you come up Sunset Boulevard off of 65, it's up past William Jessup. It's just past Oracle, and it's on the left there, kind of the newer part of Rockland.
I have a general question about this. Do I finish the details in the building, or I have a more general question related to the same subject?
Okay. So did you worry? What?
You look a little worried.
Well, it's hard for me to hear, so.
I appreciate that, and I'll speak louder.
No, it's not your fault. It's my fault. or hearing.
In relationship to the county and the urban centers.
Yeah.
Very good example. Roseville and Lincoln are growing.
Yeah.
Eventually, your land area should shrink to nothing as the cities build out.
Yeah.
And bump up against each other. There'll be nothing left for the county if the cities are annexing land as they grow. So why would your footprint be getting bigger instead of smaller over time?
Because there's a couple projects, there's many projects out in the unincorporated area. Placer Vineyards, for one, is growing. There's supposed to be 14,000 homes out there, and they're in the process of doing that. We got the Placer One, which is Sacramento State.
Both those big projects become part of one of the cities out there?
No.
Never.
Well, I can't say that, but no, that's up there. It's unincorporated Placer County, Placer County Planning Commission and Planning Department has done all the paperwork to process
that. I understand that. I was a developer, and I know we would make a choice whether we wanted to stay in the county or we wanted to be in the city, whether we wanted to go through the annexation. But I'm just talking about good government and having the residents out there who look like they're part of Lincoln or Roseville or Rockland, not actually being part of those communities and always being in a county jurisdiction when they're urbanized and it should be cities. Does anybody ever think about that there at the county?
Oh yeah, they thought about that the last general plan. They thought about that development should go into the cities. But as the population grew, and then the county, Bickford Ranch is a good example. Placer Vineyards has been on the books for 20 years, and they're finally starting to build out. I just met with them yesterday about their plans and how they're moving forward. Again, Sacramento State and Placer One is building out. There's two projects out in not Granite Bay, but Dry Creek. One's about almost 5,000 homes. I think 500 homes. There's another one adjacent to that that's going to be about 400 homes. So it's growing, and looking forward, we're planning to make sure that we have adequate resources to provide the services that those areas are preserved.
But it doesn't change their government because the local residents want to change the government.
Well, they want to,
they don't become part of the city, right, even though they may look like they're part of the city.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Thank you.
So,
Oh, this is a good question. You said the property value is $6 million.
$6.5 million.
Is that how much? You made tenant improvements because they're at about what's the budget for that?
That's the benefit of this facility. It's already built. Or there's more to it. So we're looking at out of the government center, a warehouse which houses all the sheriff's office equipment. We've got a mobile command center, one of the most unique in the state. We've got military equipment that we purchased, and we've got to find a place to house those. That's a $5.9 million project. So by doing this, it eliminates the need for that warehouse out in North Auburn. And so that funding can go towards paying for this. Yes, sir.
Are they going to close the subsidy?
No, there'll be a still operation there, but not full scale. And of course, it's going to be there until this project goes up.
Just for meeting you up on the building that you're offering, what is the cost to retrofit the building from its current occupancy of a radio station to be used for the sheriff's department? I guess the second part of that, will they have holding cells there as well that would require tenant improvements?
The second part is no, there won't be any holding cells. It's 5 minutes away from 65, 10 minutes away from the Bill Center, which you just said. So, tell me your first part of that.
What is the cost, not to buy the building, but to renovate inside for any tenant improvements or any transition from a radio station to a substation?
The cost will be minimal because there's offices in there already. There's a lobby and a waiting room. There's restrooms in there. So it's pretty much ready to go. We'll have to set up the computer systems and everything, but there's office space there for each officer. So that they'll have sometime probably as many as 90 officers or deputy sheriffs.
A+ rated by the.
And then develop the world for mechanisms in place to provide funding for firehouse, provide funding for schools and things. Areas developed. There's no funding in place to provide for sheriff's safety. Up in the center of the world that this new development is going to be.
Yeah, that's why we have general fund reserves for that type of project, those types of projects. And so by saving $5.9 million for the warehouse, that money can go towards anything that we need to do as far as candidate groups. But it's pretty well already set up. And it's going to save over the,
30 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:30 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI, Voice of the Foothills. If you're just joining us, if you're just tuning in, we're listening into the Auburn Meddlers meeting as we do every Tuesday during the 7 o'clock hour. We're going to pause now and show some love to our advertisers, and we will be back right after this.
Back to school time, and your one-stop place for shopping is
Pre-season very fast. Where weekdays backing up, and it takes up to an hour to get a response and another hour for the deputy to get there. We want a better quality of life up here, and you're making some very excellent decisions to provide our new people with the same high quality safety and response.
Thank you. Yes.
Wake up, folks. It's expensive to live a good life.
Right.
Save your money.
Additionally, there'll be more space. The sheriff's office is going to take about 27.
51964 or online.
31 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:31 a.m. We're going to go back now to the Auburn Meddlers meeting where we're getting updates from Placer County Supervisor Jim Holmes as he's filling in for Cindy Gustafson today. Let's go back to the meeting now.
They're already built, and so it saves money on that. So it's a very forward-thinking, and we're blessed that we have the opportunity and the resources to take advantage of that. There's a lot of buildings that are not being utilized. And so we've seen the Placer County Office of Education. They bought that building off of Atherton and Menlo. The CV Center is out there. And then, of course, we bought the Sherry's Berries building in Rockland. They're right off of where the elections department is. And if you walk through that, if you ever went through that and saw all the equipment that's needed to conduct an election, it's mind-boggling. And so we're taking a wise use of our funds, buying properties that are already ready to go, instead of spending, we just spent $90 million on the Health and Human Services Center. And so it's a very forward-looking way to prepare for the future. Yes.
I just wanted to add, in 1990, the board of supervisors identified the areas south of baseline and Bedford branch as areas for future development as of now.
Right.
And so basically that's what you're seeing happen.
Right.
Now, as well as the city of Roseville is expanded, but this area south of baseline is stayed within the county.
Yeah.
Right. Any other questions for the county? Seeing none. Thank you, Jim.
Oh, thank you.
Nice to have you here. This morning, it's my pleasure to introduce Donna Silva. She's the City of Auburn's treasurer. She's up for re-election, so I haven't heard the anybody want as a competition.
Not so far.
We still got till the 9th.
Right.
It's all yours.
Your name is
It's yours.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm really honored to be here speaking this morning. I'm excited to talk to you about the city treasurer position and what it does and what I've been doing as your city treasurer for the past 8 years. But before I do that, I would like to spend a little bit of time talking about my upbringing, my background, so that you can get to know me a little bit. The city treasurer position isn't very forward facing. I spend a lot of time here at City Hall and doing a lot of work that's mostly behind the scenes. So I know I've met a couple of you before, but I want to give you a chance to get to know me. So the best way to do that is to tell you a little bit about my mother. I can advance, right? She's, your mom.
You exceeded my ability.
Uh-oh. Okay. That was literally just a flip. Well, maybe we go without the power. That would happen. Sure we can.
Clicking mouse on the screen, right mouse click, and now
Got it. Woo, thank you so much.
Yeah, skills.
All right. Okay, here we go. So that's my mom up on screen, and she was in her early 20s. My mom's name was Jerry. She grew up in the state of Washington. She was a very independent, strong-willed, creative, resourceful, fun-loving woman. She left home. She couldn't wait to leave home and head out on her own. She left home the minute she turned 18 in a little convertible driving down from Seattle to Los Angeles. She was looking for a sailor. She found herself a used car salesman instead, and all that implies. They got married. My dad, named Bill, he owned a used car dealership on Two Motors. It was in Hermosa Beach. The dealership was in. Anyhow, so we lived down there for my
Okay. Here we go.
And in the summer before second grade, they did not want to raise us in Southern California. They wanted to raise us in the country. They bought 30 acres outside in the mountains west of Hillsburg. And my sister and my mom and I moved up there immediately. My dad, both my parents had their private pilot's license. And so the plan was for my dad to fly up on the weekends while he was working on selling the dealership and ultimately come up and join us. Unfortunately, he fell prey to alcoholism and he started coming up less and less. So most of the time, it was my mom and my sister and I up on this 30-acre ranch with horses and cows and pigs and sheep and goats and vegetable garden. And my mom had to learn really quickly how to wear both hats and how to be resourceful and do things that typically, the gender roles we all have, typically her husband would. So she learned, we built a barn, we built a chicken coop, we built fences, we repaired fences, she learned how to pull a horse trailer and how to navigate muddy dirt roads in the wintertime and forge creeks when the rains washed out our bridge. And we were her helpers. So I learned early on that gender roles, I didn't know what gender roles were. If something needed to get done, we did it. It was great. It was a great way to grow up and have tons of fun. Show horses. I learned the value of hard work and grit. We would come home. I remember one night coming home after a 4-H meeting in the rain and the dark. We'd pull in, and all the sheep were gone. And so what do? Well, you get your flashlight, you get your raincoat, and you go corral the sheep. Couldn't go to school in the morning until all the animals were fed. My mom wasn't going to get up early to do that, but my sister and I did that. So I learned the value of hard work, and I learned responsibility, and I learned some grit. Then, right before junior high, my mom learned that we were in pretty dire financial situation. My dad had run the business into the ground. His drinking was really bad. She gave him an ultimatum: you leave, or it's being death. That's my lives. There's my parents and my mom and my sister. She learned how bad things were. She gave me an ultimatum, and we did not seek help, and so she left. So the summer of 6th grade, before junior high, we moved from this 30-acre ranch to an upstairs apartment in town. So talk about culture shock. It was a really big change for my mom and for my mom. We were starting out on a new life. But she had a couple of rules for herself that she shared with us. Get a job, no welfare. She wasn't going to be on welfare. She hadn't had a job in the workforce for over 15 years.
She was gonna get a job, and she was gonna buy a house. And me and my mom, we knew that house must have a fireplace. My mom loved fires, not wildfires, obviously, but campfires. We always had a fireplace, and it was really important to her. So those are pretty lofty goals for someone that is just left her husband and in dire financial straits, bad credit, you name it. But she did it, and it really showed me that you can do anything. She got a job as an escrow officer, and within 2 years, she owned and it was really creative what she did, and I'm sure it happens all the time, but I've never heard of anybody else doing it. She found a nice 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in a nice area of Santa Rosa with a fireplace, but she only bought a 50% interest in it, and the seller financed her, so she didn't have to pay down payment. And they got to keep a 50% equity interest in the home, and we got to that. So we had the nice home, a stable upbringing through high school in this house, and I just thought it was so creative. Shortly after moving into that house, my mom did something that really shaped me as an accountant now. She cashed her paycheck, went to the bank, got cash in a pile of envelopes. She brought it home, she sat my sister and I down, and she walked us through all the monthly bills that we had. And we created an envelope for each bill, and we put the cash in each envelope, the mortgage, the PG&E bill, the car insurance, fuel for the car, every cash outflow had to put the money in the envelope. And in the end, there wasn't much left over. What was left over was for groceries and our allowance. Really taught me how tough it was to make ends meet. Then she told us that we were each going to take a turn doing the meal planning, the grocery shopping, and the cooking. Mind you, I'm in 8th grade. And so when it was my week, I had $20 in blue chip stamps to ride my bicycle to the grocery store and do the family grocery shopping and the meals that I planned for that week. And I was horrified at the thought of not having enough money. Well, I got a debit from my mom's debit card, a credit card. I had an envelope of $20 with some blue chip stamps. So as I went through the grocery store, I would write down the price of each item and whether or not it was taxable. And then I would go find a corner of the grocery store. I didn't want anyone to see me doing it. And I would add it all up on my calculator to make sure I had enough money. And so I never got caught without enough money. And then when I was done, I would call my mom on a payphone. I'd make sure I had 10 cents left over. Call my mom on a payphone. She'd come down and pick up the groceries, and I'd ride my bike home. So it was really, my mom taught me so much. Taught me how to live on a budget, how to meet your goals, how to be creative, how to work hard, how to have a sense of responsibility, all the things that have served me really well in my career. I had a hard time in high school. I went to Santa Rosa High School. I didn't thrive. My mom kept telling me I was super smart and could do or be anything I wanted to be, but I didn't feel like it at the time. I barely graduated, made some bad choices with, boys and such. Those are stories for another time. But after about 5 years out of high school, the lost years, I found my way back to junior college. And the best thing happened to me when I got to junior college. I got an A on my first assignment. English 1A on an essay, and I got an A. And I couldn't believe it, but it empowered me. Like, I can do this. I can do this. My mom's right. Maybe I am smart. And so I worked really hard, almost full time, putting myself through college. I eventually graduated from UC Santa Barbara with a bachelor's in economics, business economics, with an emphasis in accounting. I got recruited out of college to a CPA firm, and I spent about 6 years as an independent auditor and tax accountant, working for 2 different CPA firms, one in Redwood City, one in Sacramento. And I had the opportunity to jump to one of our audit clients, the city of Rio Vista, as their finance director. And it was a great opportunity. I learned so much there. I was there for about 3 years when I had the opportunity to go to the city of Rancho Cordova as their chief financial officer. And I had the pleasure of working with your friend and neighbor Stephanie Snyder at Rancho Cordova for 8 wonderful years, probably the highlight of my career. Not that I don't like my job today, but those were wonderful, wonderful years. We learned so much. When Stephanie retired, and shortly thereafter, our city manager, Ted Gabler, retired, there was a bit of a mass exodus of management out of the city, myself included. And I went to the San Juan Water District as their director of finance and human resources. And I've been there now for 9 years. So I do government finance for my career. Let me change gears a little bit. I would be remiss if I didn't talk a little bit about my family and how we ended up in Auburn. My husband Sean and I, that's my family up there on the screen. Myself, my daughter Annabelle, my son Ryan, and my husband Sean. Sean and I met when I was in junior college. We were working in farmers markets together. He had a girlfriend at the time, so it didn't matter that I thought he was cute. I did, but he had a girlfriend. We ended up becoming really good friends. And when he broke up with his girlfriend, he started dating my best friend and my roommate. And they dated for like 5 years. And then I ended up dating his best friend, who I lived with when I was down in college at Santa Barbara. Very incestuous. But so after everybody broke up and everything fell apart, Sean and I were still great friends. And we ended up 10 years later, we ended up dating and getting married. So I highly recommend marrying your best friend. We've been married for 24 years now. He's still my favorite person. We have twins. When the twins were 1.5 years, we were looking to move up to Grass Valley because that's where Sean's mom lived. But that was during the market crash, the housing market crash. So I was the house was being built that we were working on buying, and I was looking around to make sure I was still getting a good deal when I found this house in Auburn that was just perfect. My husband, I always wanted to live in the country, get back to the country, but my husband wants to live in a town, community. So we bought this property just up behind high school. Feels like we're in the country, but you can walk to town. So we've been there for 16 years now? Yeah, long time. The twins went to Little Fox Preschool, Guy Ridge, Edie Kane, and they're starting their senior year for Classify. My son Ryan is heavily involved in the band program. He's actually one of the drum majors this year. So if you go to a football game, you'll see him leading the band or at a parade. He's probably the guy with the military leading the parade, leading the band down the road. Super proud of him. My daughter Annabelle is on the varsity girls tennis team. At Glasser. She spends her days working so hard at tennis. She's got varsity tryouts next week. She's vying for the #1 spot. But whatever spot she gets, I'm super proud of her. So being a career woman and a wife and a mother is very demanding on my time. And I was always kind of looking for a way to give back to my community, besides the requisite youth sports snack duty. And one day I was having lunch with her coffee with Stephanie, and she was telling me how the city's longtime treasurer was not running for re-election. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is my opportunity to give back. I can do this job. I know this job. And I ran for election back in 2016, and I was thrilled when I won. But then I had to figure out, okay, what's expected of me? What's really expected of me? So I already knew what a city treasurer does because I've been the appointed treasurer in both Rancho, Cordova, and at the water district. But what is an elected treasurer? So I don't know if you guys know, but a treasurer can either be elected or appointed. Most treasurers these days, not all, but most treasurers are appointed, and it's usually a position that's held by the director. But in Auburn, it's elected. The government code, up there on the screen, I don't know if you can read it, the government code requires there to be a city treasurer, and it prescribes the duties that the treasurer will do. But because these duties are so complex, like if the city, for example, if the city has issued bonds, the city treasurer shall use a system of accounting and auditing that adheres to generally accepted accounting. The treasurer is responsible for collecting and holding all revenues and for paying out all money. Well, if you're just any person that's elected to this position, you can have skills. And so most cities have delegated the city treasurer responsibilities to the finance director. And that's what I found when I started at Auburn. The only thing that was expected of me when I first started was to lend my signature on a metal plate in the check sign machine in the accounting department. so that they could pass it through and rubber stamp my signature for the check. As a CPA and a person who does this for a living, I was not okay with that. So I did an assessment of the internal controls, and I found the holes, and I started plugging, offering to do this, to do that. So what exactly have I been doing for the past 8 years? Well, I come to City Hall every Friday to review the check run. I make sure that every invoice that's paid has been duly authorized by the respective department manager. And if it's $1,000 or more, it's been signed by your city manager. So I come here every week. The city's had a lot of turnover in the finance director position in the 8 years that I've been the treasurer. There have been 5 finance directors in that time, and one of them has served twice, usually in a part-time. So me coming in every Friday and getting to know the staff has provided a measure of consistency to the department. I'm not ultimately in charge of running the department, but I think it's been helpful to have somebody else. I confer with the finance director, who is here today, by the way. Gretchen Johnson is your new finance director. She is fantastic. I'm really enjoying working with her. I confer with her and her predecessors on the city's cash needs and make recommendations to get that cash out of checking account into the city's investment to increase our investment income. I perform periodic reviews of the city's investment policy to make sure that we keep it current with the government code. The government code is very restrictive on what kind of investment the city can enter into, because the primary goal of any city's investment policy is safety. Because it's not the city's money, it's your money. And we have a responsibility to invest it wisely. We cannot invest in risky corporate bonds, junk bonds. It has to be AAA rated corporate stocks, treasuries, United States bonds. So that's constrained by the government code, but the city could make it even more restrictive. But it's always been my recommendation to have the investment policy mirror the government code, because the government code is already. So I make sure that the investment policy stays in line with the government code. More recently, at the request of our city council, I investigated a new investment vehicle, and they ultimately entered into it. So we now participate in the California Asset Management Program. Camp, it's a pool, it's currently earning us 5.43% interest. So that's much better than what LAIF, Local Agency Investment Fund, another government investment pool. It was only earning around 4%, and then the Placer County Investment Pool was earning around 3%. So this is a good new tool. I serve as a resource and a sounding board for the finance director. But I want to make it clear, because sometimes it's confusing, that it's the finance director who is responsible for the day-to-day operations of the city. The finance director is responsible for the budget, responsible for long-term planning, responsible for annual fiscal reporting, and reporting to the council and the community on the financial situation of the city. The treasurer is more focused on the safekeeping of the cash and investments. It's pretty narrow. I did just finish putting together the June 2024 quarterly investment report. It's something that I brought back to the city. It's a report that's required by the government code, but it hasn't been being done for a long time. So every quarter, I do the treasurer's report at a city council meeting, usually on the consent calendar, because there's no decision to be made. But it's important for transparency that people know how much money is. So it's on the screen. It starts out by showing the different checking accounts. The city has 5 different checking accounts. The largest one is just the general checking. It shows the current yield, the par value, and the cost if it's an actual stock. The previous quarter value, and then the current quarter,
all right,
and then the change.
So
June 30th,
mystery guest has been changed to 10.
the city had just under
I'm gonna find out.
$13 million in its various checking. So that's significantly more than I like to keep in the checking account. So I'll hand it back. It had $4 million in the camp pool, and almost $3 million in LAIF, and $572,000 in the Placer County investment pool for $7.5 million out earning interest. Gretchen and I were in the process of moving money out of Lake, out of the Placer County pool, into the checking account and out to Canada, try to increase the yield on the investments. But we didn't quite get the whole transaction finished by June 30th. So at June 30, there's $10 million in the checking account that was on its way out to camp. So that's why that number in the checking account is so large. It's now sitting out in camp, so there's $14 million in camp earning 5.4%. So that's a good one. So total,
Okay.
total cash and investments for the city. I have this little. Or 20.7
All right.
million.
So today, fun facts.
Because that's all the city's money, right? And so all the city's money and investments are pulled together into the bank accounts. But in the accounting system, they're all segregated into the different types of funds the city has. So a fund is like its own business. It has its own balance sheet, its own income statement. There's the general fund, which is where most of the city operations are accounted for: police, fire, city hall operations. But then there's special revenue funds, such as gas tax. Those gas tax monies that the city gets, those are restricted. They can't be spent on just anything. And so they're held in their own fund. And they get their own piece of these investment earnings, right? Then there's the enterprise funds, the sewer, the airport, the transit. Those are operated like a business entity and they charge fees. Those fees that are charged for your sewer, they can't be used to pay for public safety. They can only be used on sewer. So they're held in their own fund. So
August
there's
6th.
somewhere between 20
Son of a gun.
25
Today.
funds, I think, at the city.
1911.
And they each have a piece of this pot. And that's all
There we
accounted
go.
for by Gretchen and her team.
Na da da da
The
da
accounting
pip pip
department and the accounting.
la da 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 pip
This is
pip
what it
pip.
looks like pictorially. The green is the
Okay.
the green is the checking account. The yellow is the blue is Lake, and the red is the Placer County.
1890, the first
By the time I do the next one, that green's gonna be a lot smaller, and the yellow's gonna be a lot bigger.
electrocution is a death penalty that was carried
Yeah,
out in
that's,
Auburn,
That's what I
New
have for
York.
you today.
William
I
Conway
do want to add.
was executed for murdering his common law
I'm
wife,
super excited
Matilda
about the direction of the city.
Matilda
We have a
Ziegler.
really good management team.
1926,
Gretchen
Gertrude
Johnson joined the city
Ed-
in March, and she has been
Edler,
she's only been here for 4 years. She's already made more change, more positive change than all
Gertrude
her
Ederle
predecessors.
became the first woman to swim across
She
the
is
English Channel.
implementing systems to increase the
Gertrude
efficiency of the
Ederle,
finance department.
August
They're gonna
atomic
help all
bomb
the
little
work.
boy was dropped over
She
Hiroshima,
was
Hiroshima,
smart. She's
Hiroshima,
energetic. She's motivated. We're
Hiroshima,
super
Japan,
excited to be working with her.
injuring or killing over
We've got a
200,000
great
people.
city manager.
The Women's Rights Act of 1965 was signed, making voting easier for
firing on all
minorities.
cylinders. and really wanna
Fresh,
be a part
fresh
of
breath
all
day,
the positive
root
change
beer
that's happening.
float day,
So for that
and wiggle
reason,
your
I
toes
win
day.
the election in November.
So questions?
Comments, snide remarks.
I'm going to go the easy one first. You grew up with your mother's maxims as a guidepost to help you live your life. What are you passing on to your 3 kids or 2 kids with a maxim?
Well, yeah, that's a great question. And I often ask that of myself. I'm not doing nearly as good of a job as my mother did in those regards. But my kids have chores. They have chores and they work hard. They grew up in very different, my children grew up in very different circumstances.
How have you introduced envelopes to them?
I haven't. I have not. When they turned 12, we took them downtown to the bank and opened up bank accounts for them.
So I'm wondering if I
And
should
started giving them an
keep this
allowance,
going
an
or
age-based
like
allowance.
pause.
And they expected them to
For-
purchase all of the wants out of their allowance. We covered the needs, which is a lot different. I had $7 a week allowance, and that was for school lunches and clothes and fun. They were a little more than that. So they've had it a lot easier. But I will say that my kids are so much better than I was. They're not getting in trouble like I was in high school. They're over a 4.2 GPA and are looking at going to college straight out of school. So I think they're learning different lessons because they have a different mom than I did.
I'm going to save the last question in case somebody else has a question.
I'm impressed with your review process. It's one of the things I've been thinking, I've been friends with similar years.
Oh.
And I like the quarterly, because when you get the annual review, that's like, find out that the college state closing the door after the quarterly reviews are essential.
Okay, there's a thing on F-bombs.
Just on the treasury section, you have concentration of your assets, of your cash. You have a policy of how much you can invest in this particular company, because we put it all in one company, and that goes down the street. So how do you
Yes.
spread out?
The city's investment policy dictate that. For example, no more than 20% of the city's cash can be invested in the Placer County investment pool. That's really the only one that's in the policy. But the nice thing about these investments is that they themselves are highly diversified. So the Lake Local Agency Investment Fund is managed by the state of California. And it is a very broad pool of investments. Same thing with camp. We're not we have one individual stock that was purchased years ago. You know, the reason that you invest in these pools is because cities like Auburn, they don't have the wherewithal to have their own investments, right? We don't have the expertise to do that. They did it once, when they bought Lehman Brothers.
Yeah.
You saw that, yeah, we didn't talk about that. So it's now worth, its par value was $125,000. Now worth $37.50.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
I think there's a little bit of an element about the potential for the city is behind the district around that. I think we're all well aware of the reasons behind this. I want to get your perspective on.
So, yeah, I appreciate that, and you're right, that is the elephant in the room. That's been a hard one for me over the years, trying to figure out how to help the city in my role as election versus not my role as finance director. So I have not been involved in the budgeting and in the financial forecasting. But I have been a keen observer of the finance directors that have come through. And when I have had concerns, I've rung the bell and I've spoken to management, and ultimately those concerns were addressed. I like to think that I was part of the solution. I feel bad that I didn't catch it, but it wasn't one of my duties. I wasn't reviewing the budget. I wasn't reviewing the forecasts. I was making sure the money wasn't sitting idle in the checking, but it was out of the.
I'll add to that. When we had lunch in like early October, I think, and Donna brought a bunch of different concerns to me during that lunch, and we took action pretty quickly after that to resolve the issues that she brought up. So having somebody that has the background and experience that Donna has, although she's not a member of the city staff team, but also kind of having like being in the finance department and seeing things that are happening that people look at removed is really, really helpful.
So Bob, you have a follow-up.
Related to that, but that's the part of the question that probably there's a couple of mine. As a long-term or relatively long-term government employee, you watch local government at work in the area, and you went through a really well-operating local government, and then it came off its wheels.
It's going longer than I expected or thought. And I'm trying to figure out a way to cut away from this. And there's not a really good time.
Well, the best advice.
Recording stopped.
The best thing that citizens can and should do, pay attention. You know, and I applaud the people in this room for being engaged in the local government. It's hard, right? Local government's gotten really complex and confusing. And it takes a lot of time to do the deep dives so that you really know what's going on. It's all there for you. It's all on the city's webpage. It's all on the staff reports are all there. The data's all there. It just takes time. It's a tall order. But that's the answer, whether you like it or not.
And 4 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:04 a.m. here at FM 104. AM 950 KAHI, voice of the foothills. If you're just tuning in, we were listening to the Auburn Meddlers meeting, the Chamber of Commerce meeting, as we do every Tuesday during the 8 o'clock hour. We were hearing from Donna Silva. She's the treasurer for the city of Auburn CPA. So just kind of hearing some updates. It's always interesting to hear all the ins and outs of our local government here, the operations. And as she herself said, she's like, I'm kind of more behind the scenes. I'm not super public facing a lot of the time. So a chance to hear from those folks that I really appreciate about this meeting is the folks that maybe normally don't have a platform, don't have a stage to talk on. We get to hear from them, hear what they do, hear updates, just be aware that might not even be aware of what's going on in the background, but they have a chance to say like, hey, here's what I do. Here's what I see. Here's my experience, here's my family. It just humanizes somebody so that we kind of have a better familiarity with what's going on around us. And for those that are not only serving the city, but the county as well. Always interesting to hear that update. So yeah, really great to tune into that. And as we do every Tuesday, tuning into the Meddlers meeting. I love it. It's the Chamber of Commerce, but it's kind of metal and things. I love kind of the history behind that. But hey, as we're getting started today, hope you're having a fantastic day as we're getting started today. If it's your birthday today, doggone it, happy birthday to you. I hope you are having a great day so far. Maybe you got to sleep in a little bit today. Maybe you didn't have to get up right away and got to maybe have somebody bring you some breakfast. Maybe somebody's going to take you out to lunch or to dinner today. I hope you have a great day today. If today is your birthday, you share your birthday. Now, this was a very important person in my life. I didn't know this person personally, but this person shaped a lot of what I thought of comedy and timing and everything. That's Lucille Ball. Lucille Ball was born on this day in 1911. Passed away in 1989. Of course, probably the most famous that she did was the I Love Lucy show. I used to watch that every morning religiously. I knew it was on from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. That gave you 2 episodes. So you got 2 episodes of Lucy. And of course, on the ones where they went to California and they came out and they went to Hollywood, those were always the most favorite ones. You knew that when it was replaying again through all the reruns, when they were getting ready to come towards California, it was always going to be a good one. And the one where Tennessee Ernie Ford was in there. Of course, I didn't know who any of these people were. I just knew it was Lucy and Ricky and Fred and Ethel. And that's, as a kid growing up, that's all you really needed to know. And then you find out all the different actors that came on throughout the time on there. But today is Lucy's birthday, Lucille Ball, born on this day in 1911. And interestingly enough, and maybe this is why, today is also it's Friendship Day. And of course, who could forget Lucy and Ethel singing about friendship? I remember that. Always a classic, man. That was the timing that they had together of the whole cast there of Ricky and Lucy and Fred and Ethel was always fantastic. And I always remember watching Miracle on 34th Street, and hey, there's Fred. There's Fred Mertz. No, okay, it was William Frawley was the actor's actual name. But yeah, it was always fun to watch that. Always look forward to watching I Love Lucy on. It was on Fox 40. For those of you that grew up locally here, remember locally on Fox 40 from 9 to 10 a.m. every morning. It was the I Love Lucy show, and then Andy Griffith at noon and Dick Van Dyke at 12:30. That was the the TV guide of my day. Hey, also today. Gertrude Ederle became the first woman to swim across the English Channel in 14 hours and 31 minutes. That was in 1926. Today is Fresh Breath Day. It's Root Beer Float Day. It's Wiggle Your Toes Day, and also Friendship Day. And was told that earlier today during the 6 o'clock hour, and it was early, I kind of wondered if this was going to happen or not. I was told that we have a mystery guest that was going to call in. Now, that didn't happen. This guest is so mysterious that I don't even know who this person is. My lovely wife, who helps book our guests that come on the show, she said, just be prepared. You've got a surprise guest coming on tomorrow. I said, you're not going to tell me who it is? She's like, you're not going to know who it is. Take a look at the day that it is, what the special thing about the day is. and you'll see who that mystery guest is. So we're going to find out who that mystery guest is. We're going to pause for commercials. We'll be back right after this.
Hi, listeners. Producer Adam here to remind you to listen to Chris in the Morning along with Matt Ray and America's First News. Get all the local news, weather, traffic, and local events you can handle, plus a healthy dose of daily dad jokes. Chris in the Morning with Matt Ray, 6 to 9 a.m. here on FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI, the voice of the foothills. I never miss it, and neither should you. My goodness, it's early.
For over 60 years, Placer County Water Agency has delivered high-quality water and top-notch customer service. The water we provide helps farmers grow their crops and local businesses thrive and prosper. And most importantly, is there for you every time you turn on the tap. It's a tradition we're proud of, and one we plan on continuing for the next 60 years and the next 60 years after that. Discover how we're securing water for our future at pcwa.net/waterfuture.
And 10 minutes past the top of the hour. Okay, our mystery guest is calling in. Here we go. KAHI Radio, you're on the radio. Who's this? Producer Adam is calling in. Live and on. you're yeah. Well, there we go. Really? Oh, that's happening now, is it? Okay. What is happening right now? What is going on? Oh, wow. This is a shocker and a surprise. Producer Adam, ladies and gentlemen. I was told there was going to be a mystery guest that was going to be on the show today, and I wasn't told who it was going to be. And this is a delightful surprise. And again, decided not to answer the phone ahead of time, but and this is what I get for just answering just live on air. This is this is it. What's going on? Yeah, wow. I got to tell you, producer Adam here. This is you're making a lot of promises. You're really putting it out there. This is a big change. I don't know that KAHI has really seen this much change in that much time, but it could be a challenge accepted. I mean, we could even start right now. I mean, why don't we just get started? I mean, yeah. I mean. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Say that one, KAHI. Say that again. KAHI and there it is. Well, I've had a lot of. It is National Friendship Day. That's cute that you think we're friends. I thought we were just coworkers, but okay, that's fine. We'll play this game. It's funny you're calling in because I thought you were in the other room because I keep yelling at you, and this is now a big clue that you're not in the same building. You're apparently remote somewhere else, or you're calling from another room in the building. It makes sense. All right. Oh, okay. So this is good. This is actually good, and I'm glad that you were the one who was chosen. You and the scheduler behind my back here. We're planning this, and don't think that I don't appreciate it, and don't think that there will be words that will happen after this little interview is over. But let's just say there's a lot of people, and producer Adam, you have validated. I feel validated in a way because a lot of people have asked. Is producer Adam a real person? Did you just get one of your friends here? And I say friends loosely. I'm using air quotes here to record that little spot that's not really a real person is. And you are proving that yes, you are a real person. So the people want to know, producer Adam, what do you do in your spare time outside the radio station here? Yes. Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're doing a bang up job. Yeah, that is. All right. But really, I've had people ask, "What are your hobbies?" Really, what do you do for fun? Oh, did you? Oh, well, that's news to me. I didn't know we talked about going for a transfer there. Okay, fair enough. All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, hence all the coffee. Yeah, that's why you gotta keep it going. Oh, fly! I thought you were driving. Well, that's fantastic. All right. Well, everybody, that's producer Adam is here. Thank you, producer. You are real. There we go. Voice of the foothills on the K high and the K lows. I'm gonna use that from now on. Producer Adam, thanks so much for calling in. I expect you to be back in the building at some point because I got to be able to yell at somebody when things don't go right. So, producer Adam, everybody, thanks so much for calling in. To your suggestion, we're gonna go out on some show tunes here. We'll be back with more right after this.
Saturdays and Sundays right here on 104.5 FM and AM 950.
Dude, that was hilarious.
Join Frank and his friends, Sammy, Dean, Tony Bennett, and more, performing songs from the
Oh my gosh, it was so good. It was so funny. I was dying. Hang on, let me put you. Do you have a second? Can I put you on hold and I'll okay, hang on 1 second.
104.5 FM, AM 950, and streaming all over the world at KAHI.com.
Hi, this is Mike Nichols. What are you doing? This and every Sunday morning, starting date, here on FM 104.5, AM 950, and KAHI.com, the voice of the foothills.
What do you say now? If it's the last day now, what are you doing?
18 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:18 a.m. Where apparently it's all show tunes all the time. Producer Adam calling in. Thanks so much for calling. Coming up next, we'll have your daily dad jokes. Back with more. Back now to America's First News. I'll see you back here in a bit.
America's First News continues. And the White House said that President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris were briefed Monday by their national security team
I'm
on
dying,
U.S.
man.
military efforts to support Israel.
It's so good. K high and K low.
Iran and its proxies. The briefing included a discussion of diplomatic efforts to reduce regional tensions.
Oh man, that was good. That was good.
Hostage release. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. We are engaged.
Yeah. Oh, you were like a radio guy. The whole, hey everybody, we're doing a radio thing. Oh my gosh, it was so, I was dying. I legit, I had no idea who it was, and normally I'm at a break during that time, but I said, you know what, I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna answer this live on air. Like this is just gonna be all like the audience is finding out as I'm finding out. No. No, it's just me. It's me and producer Adam. That's the one who's here, but apparently producer Adam is in Idaho now, so I might have to get a. Yeah. You're like, who's this? I'm like, Chris. Oh my gosh, it's so funny because I'm like, I was hyping it up because I have my little whiteboard here that like it says 640 mystery, and I literally had no idea who it was, and it's a mystery guest, and so I'm promoting. I'm like, nobody's listening during the 6 o'clock hour anyway, and I was like, yeah, the mystery guest, and then it came one. I'm like, well, I guess we missed the mystery guest, and then Emily texted me. She's like, your guest is being rescheduled for 8:10, and I was like, okay, that's fine, that works. No, it's way better. There was more there. It was actually way better that it was later. So it totally worked. It was really good. Dude, I did not recognize you at all though. When you there's a guy that it's kind of funny because there's a guy that calls in that kind of complains about stuff every now and again, and you kind of sounded like him. So I was like, oh, okay. It was so funny though. Oh my gosh, that was brilliant. That was. I hope so, but this like warmed my when you said producer Adam, I was just like, oh my gosh. Oh, it was so good. Well, and I don't know if she told you, so we got this like dumb little calendar from Grocery Outlet that has every day of the every day of the year. It's like today's like cinnamon roll day, and today was friendship day, right? So she's like, oh, I'm gonna oh, that was, but the fact that you did the character and like stuff, and I was like, yes, and like let's just see how much we can improv this. I want to see how far it can go. Let's see. Let's go back to drama class. Let's yes and this and see how. And like I'm frantically searching like for like Sound of Music, Guys and Dolls. Like I'm like, okay. And the fact that you were just like radio talk guy, hey everybody, let's go. It was like it was just a delight. It was so funny, man. Well done. Oh, it was no, it actually kind of keeps the lore because like legit and again it wasn't planned. It's just in the programming that we have here that was happening. Like your commercial played right before you came on the air, so it literally just played the Chris of the Morning ad. It wasn't timed like that because obviously if you would have called in earlier today, it would have been different. But yeah, I was just like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. So serendipity, my friend. Hey man, I want to know how everything is going. I know I want to give you guys some time to settle and kind of get all in, but yeah, I want to know how things are going. So let's catch up soon. All right, buddy. Love you too. I'll talk to you later. All right, bye.
One of those moves with a lot more volatility than the other. We're in a balanced risk posture, which is to say, we could go for a long time just focused on inflation because inflation was the place where we were falling down, and the job market remained extremely strong. Now, we're seeing some weakness in the job market. We have to pay attention to that. And as I say, my view is
Hey, dad jokes about friendship. There we go.
You only want to be that restrictive for as long as you have to. If you don't think there's a chance of overheating or it doesn't look like overheating, it's not the right time to be tight. Some of Wall Street's recent declines may simply be air coming out of a stock market that rocked to dozens of all-time highs this year, partly on the frenzy over AI. Critics have been saying for a while that the stock market looked expensive after prices rose faster than corporate profits. Most Americans have doubts about the Secret Service's ability to keep presidential candidates safe after last month's attempt on former President Trump's life. That's according to a new poll from the Associated
All right, looking for dad jokes on friendship.
that the Secret Service can keep candidates safe. The survey also found about 7 in 10 think the Secret Service bears at least a moderate amount of responsibility for the assassination attempt. The new acting director, Ronald Rose,
See what we got here.
the agency's counter sniper teams didn't know there was a gunman, even though several witnesses and local police saw him. It's my understanding that personnel were not aware the assailant had a firearm until they heard gunshots. At 6:11 p.m., member of the former President Trump's
Why was the guy looking for fast food on his friend? Because his friend said, dinner's on me. You heard my best friend? I can make your death look good. Good friends don't let you do stupid things alone.
6:11 p.m., the assailant's first volley of 3 shots was fired. And within 3 seconds, the former president's detail rushed the stage and covered former President Trump, shooting him with their own bodies. The 4 QA shots took place over the next several seconds. 15 and a half seconds after the assailant's first shot, a Secret Service counter sniper fired a single round that neutralized the assailant. This was a failure. We should have had better protection for the protectee. We should have had better coverage on that roof line. We should have had at least some other set of eyes from the Secret Service point of view covering that. That building was very close to that outer perimeter, and we should have had more of a presence. The AP NORC poll found that about a third of Americans.
All right, here we go.
That the Department of Homeland Security, which oversees the Secret Service,
And let's go to Slack.
A lot more to come on this Tuesday morning.
Breaking news first. America's first news, coast to coast, with Matt Ray. We'll be right back.
Did you know that healthy arteries make a gas?
Yes.
Actually, 3 gases. I am Dr. Mitch, and nitric oxide is a gas that's readily made all day long to keep our arteries open by relaxing the blood vessel walls. By doing this, our circulation is increased, bringing blood, oxygen, and nutrients to every part of your body. Both age and poor diet can lead
Oh,
to
man.
use of this.
Oh, that was good.
Blood pressure can go up, energy can go down, and you can get tingling in your hands and feet. Well, our product, nitric oxide, can easily help fix this lack of nitric oxide. Go to totalwellness.com. That's totalwellness.com.
Man, that was funny.
So get good, feel good, and enjoy Total Wellness.
This one from Micah. A priest and a rabbit walk into a haberdashery. The priest says, "I'm here for a new hat." The rabbit says, I'm here because of a typo." That's good. Oh, what a gift.
$800-209-4580.
20 seconds, Adam, wherever you are.
That's 800-209-4580.
And good Tuesday morning to you. It is August 6th, and it is 30 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:30 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Lake of the Pines. Currently, it is 80 degrees right now, looking for an even 100 degrees for the high today. All right, it is time for your daily dad jokes. That's right, make you laugh, sigh. I'm guessing probably roll your eyes. We'll see if you can at least get you to chuckle on this one. If you want to send me yours, you can send me yours at live@kahi.com, live@kahi.com, like Micah T did. Micah sends this one in. A priest and a rabbit walk into a haberdashery. The priest says, "I'm here for a new hat." The rabbit says, "I'm here because of a typo." Oh, wow. Producer Adam, who apparently can remote in now, gave that one an applause. Mike and Tia, all right, that was pretty good. Let's try that again. A priest and a rabbit walk into a haberdashery. The priest says, "I'm here for a new hat." The rabbit says, "I'm here because of a typo." Oh, that's good. That's good. I like that one. Here's another one. I've just joined a dating site for arsonists. I've been sent a lot of matches. Oh, there we go. All right. And because it's Friendship Day here. By the way, say hello to your friend. If you've got a friend that your bestie, reach out to him. Even if it's just a good friend, reach out to him and say, "Hey, happy Friendship Day. I'm glad you're my friend today." How about some friend-related dad jokes? How's a good friend like a four-leaf clover? They're hard to find. Well, that's true, actually. What did the big flower say to the little flower? "Hi, bud." Well, that's pretty good. Parallel lines have so much in common. It's a shame they'll never meet. A little geography joke there. All right. Or geometry, not geography. Why can't you trust a burrito? Because they tend to spill the beans. And why does Dracula have no friends? Oh, because he's a pain in the neck. Oh, no. Oh, we ended on a groan? Oh, all right. Well, those have been your daily I'm going to give that one a rim shot. Producer Adam, that deserves a rim shot. And those have been your daily dad jokes. Again, you can send me yours live@kahi.com, live@kahi.com, or call me 530-885-3565. Your KAHI weather right after this.
Today, Producer Adam here to remind you to listen to Chris in the morning, along with Matt Ray and America's First News. Get all the local news, weather, traffic, and local events you can handle, plus a healthy dose of daily dad jokes. Chris in the morning with Matt Ray, 6 to 9 a.m. here on FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI, the voice of the foothills. I never miss it, and neither should you.
34 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:34 a.m. My thanks to producer Adam for calling in today. Thanks for Tell us a little bit about yourself, Producer Adam. That'll do it for me today, gang. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Until we meet again, remember, as always, to be kind, be honest, be yourself, and remember, you can't hate somebody if you're hugging them. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. All right, I got to jam to work. For coming in today. See you later. Bye.